Hello, Year 9. Today we're looking at non-monic quadratic trinomial factorisation. It's a bit of a mouthful. Let me explain what it means. A quadratic expression is anything that contains an x squared term or an a squared or b squared term, where one of the pronomials is squared. A trinomial is when you have that squared term and then just the x term and then the constant term. So you've got three terms in your expression. Now, last week we did some factorizing of monic quadratic trinomials, and that's when the x squared term's coefficient is 1. Today we're going to be looking at slightly more complicated questions, non-monic, when the coefficient of x squared is something other than 1, like say 2. And it's actually a little bit more difficult when we're doing that, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. We're going to use a variation of the PSF method, so it's slightly different. This time the product is the when you multiply the coefficient of x squared and the constant term together. We didn't have to worry about that before because the coefficient of x squared was 1, so we didn't have to multiply it because it won't change the answer. Then we're going to split the middle term and group in pairs. We did some grouping in pairs before. I'm going to show you what splitting the middle term means. And then we're going to complete our factorization. Let me demonstrate what this all means in this first example. So for part A, we have 2x squared plus x minus 3. Now the product, or the P part of our working, is going to be the coefficient of x squared times the constant. So it's going to be 2 times minus 3, which is minus 6. The sum, just like before, is just the coefficient of the x term. So in this case, the sum is 1. And then the factors that I'm looking for in this example are the numbers that multiply to equal minus 6 and then add to equal 1. So I'm going to need 1 negative and 1 positive because the product is negative. And the bigger term is going to be the positive one because my sum is positive. So it's going to be 3 and 2. Okay, now we haven't, it's not like the previous method we did. We actually need to now split the middle term. So I have these factors 3 and minus 2, I should say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the factor that has a common factor with the x squared term first. And then I'm going to put the factor that has a common factor with the constant term second. And I'm going to rewrite the question 2x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 3. Sorry, I didn't end up writing it in the right order that I was going to, but let me just quickly rearrange that. So instead of writing 3x minus 2x, I'm just going to change this to minus 2x plus 3x. The reason why I changed that order is so that the 2 and the minus 2 are next to each other, and then the 3 and the minus 3 are next to each other. That's going to be a bit helpful later. It's not absolutely essential you do this, but it might just help you understand what you're doing. Now, what we've done here is we haven't actually changed the question because we know that minus 2x and plus 3x just equals plus x. So we haven't changed the question. We've just written it in a new way, which will help us group in pairs. So I can take a common factor of these first two terms of 2x, and I get x plus 1. And then I can take a common factor, minus 1 it should be. So it'll be x minus 1. And then I can take a common factor of this next two ones of 3, and I get x minus 1 as well. And now we can see that x minus 1 is a common factor between these two things, so I can then complete my factorization by writing this, take out the common factor, and then I get 2x plus 3 there. If you need some revision on grouping in pairs, you can look at the video from last week, and that will help you out. All right. Now, you can pause the video and then have a go at B and C, and then you can unpause it and check your work, or you could just do B and then watch the answer for that, and then pause it again and watch do C yourself. But anyway, it would be good for you to try some of these questions first yourself, just to check that you're on the right track, and then check by unpausing the video and watching the rest. Okay, So for part B, I need to find the product. It's going to be 3 times 5, which is 15. The sum is 16. So the factors are both positive, and it's going to have to be 15 and 1. The reason that is there's no other way that I can multiply to equal 15 and add to equal 16. Okay, so when I rewrite my question, I'm going to write it as 3x squared, and then 15 has a common factor with 3, so I'm going to then write plus 15x, and then I'm going to write plus x, okay, which has a coefficient of 1, and then plus 5. Okay, I can then group in pairs, so I can take out the 3x, and then I'm left with x plus 5, and then I can take out a 1, and then I'm just left with x plus 5. So when I complete my factorization, I get x plus 5 and then 3x plus 1. Don't forget the 1 there. We know there's a 1 in front of these brackets here. I just wrote those brackets to make it clearer that we had a common factor. Okay, so you can have a go at C if you haven't already. I'm going to go through it now. For C, the product is going to be minus 30. The sum is going to be 13. So I have 1 negative and 1 positive. The bigger factor is going to be positive. So I'm going to do 15 and minus 2 because they multiply to equal 30 and add to equal positive 13. So then I can rewrite my question as 5x squared plus 15x, and then minus 2x minus 6. And then I can go take out the 5x. I'm left with x plus 3. And then take out the minus 2, and I get x plus 3 as well. So that my completed. Take out the common factor of x plus 3. And then I'm left with 5x minus 2 as my final part here. Okay, so good luck with the questions today and the math space. And if you have any questions, use the social stream or email me and see how you go. All right, catch you later.